Can I have some of my tea? Okay, so.
Should we go from the start and ask the question again?
All right. Oops.
Okay.
Do you know what you're going to say?
Hi, I'm Sylvia. I'm majoring in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies, and I'm here with one of our wonderful lecturers, Tracy, and we're going to answer some of your questions. Oh, cool. So, Tracy, what is it about UQ's approach that makes us the most employable graduates in the state?
Good question. I think I would have to say UQ has a real commitment to excellence, that all of our students get a very thorough, deep education, and that there are co-curricular activities and activities outside of the classroom that help you expand as a student, and you can apply them later.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, my turn. What has been the most unexpected thing you've been happy to discover at UQ?
Okay, that's a fun question. Actually, maybe I remember one time I was sitting in the Great Court and somehow the Wi-Fi was working out there. I mean, I guess that's a millennial answer, but like, it's nice how you can sort of sit anywhere and do your work, even if it's outside by the lakes. So great internet connection.
Or a beanbag in the Great Court.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay. How do you prepare students for the future when we don't know what the future looks like?
Oh my goodness,
I
that's
know, I
the
don't know how to
hardest
answer that
question. What we would want to be able to do is to ensure that our students have numerous skills which they can apply to any workplace, any context. So hopefully that's what we're achieving.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What are the most valuable skills you've learned as part of your degree?
I'd say probably like learning from your peers and everything. There's a lot of sort of in tutorials especially, like that's kind of where you get different perspectives and everything. And like the professors and everyone are just sort of giving you the starting point. But yeah, I think the best kind of learning is like group discussion.
So yeah, they're the best teachers, students.
Yeah. What makes a good student, and are they the same things that make a good job candidate?
Good students turn up to classes.
This is true. And good employees probably turn up to work. Yeah.
No, look, I think if you apply yourself to your study, I think you need to be able to enjoy yourself whilst you are studying as well. And I think you need to understand what kind of learner you are. So you find then the best approach for you. You know, you might be somebody who does like group work, and so you learn in that best. You know, that's the best situation for you. Or if you no, I don't want to. That's confusing. They're going to confuse my head. I need to do this all by myself, so I'll just bunker down in the library. You know, I think that really helps you work out who you are as a student, and you need to be able to translate that into the workplace as well.
Yeah. And ask questions, I think, as well, like learning from each other again, but yes.
You'll be surprised how many other people in class are thinking
I want to do the same thing,
thing.
yeah, and tutorials offer like a really good opportunity to ask those questions.
Yeah. What do you think employers in your industry are looking for, and how has UQ equipped you with these skills?
I do think my research skills have gotten a lot better at UQ, to be honest. There's lots of like online library and databases and such that they really make sure you know how to navigate from the start, which is good. And I can already notice like at work that I can apply those skills, and that's just in like a little casual admin position. So yeah, that's always a good sign.
And you need those skills if you're going to go out there and be this fabulous Uber lawyer.
Exactly. What is unique about Indigenous Studies at UQ?
That it's Indigenous Studies. I think there are a number of things about Indigenous Studies. One of the things that I'm coming to understand more clearly is that there are not that much Indigenous Studies within the school situation. That makes me very sad. I wish there was. particularly for our Indigenous students, but for all students. I think one of the other unique things is that you will have Indigenous lecturers or members of the community engaging with you in the classes. And, you know, I would be the first to admit that we are, you know, practicing and taking on board students' comments, and so we're trying to make Indigenous studies as relevant as possible for our students, and to teach it in such an enjoyable way that there's real positive impact for the students as well as for the teaching staff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think like learning about different ways of Indigenous knowing and knowledges definitely adds so much complexity to all different sorts of subjects, which is great.
Thank you.
Can you give us some examples of career opportunities that graduates will have?
The Indigenous Studies program is a major, and usually our students will couple that with other studies within their degree of choice. So, for example, if you were doing Indigenous Studies major, but you were also doing communications, then that takes you into, could take you into a public service space where you're communicating, you know, key ideas and information, but it could just as well take you into the online space where, you know, you're reporting Indigenous things, matters within the community. You could also couple it with your health qualification so that you become, if you are a non-Indigenous person, you become more informed, culturally competent, culturally intelligent about being able to provide a service to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. If you're coupling it, say, with an anthropology degree or studies in archaeology, then you are working shoulder to shoulder with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities around maybe such things as native title. You know, these are all still very prevalent within our communities. So there's lots of variation. It will depend upon our students in our courses. I know that's a real worry for students. What job am I going to get? But when you do couple it up with your other studies in your degree, you have lots of options available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, final question for you. If you could give me one piece of advice that would set me apart as a job candidate, what would it be?
I would have to say prepare. Do not turn up thinking that you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a very good
So
point.
read over your application.
Yeah.
Read over the selection criteria. Try and think of the selection criteria not as a candidate for a job, but as the employer for the job. What kinds of questions would they be asking based on that selection criteria? Do your search online, find out as much as you can about that company or that organisation or that industry, and walk in there with a really positive attitude. So even if you don't get the job, you've learnt something from that experience.